Hey everyone! 343 has decided to issue a new patch for Halo Wars 2. This patch is now live for all players in the game, and it's probably my least favorite patch so far. And it's not because of what's affected, it's who is affected. It's a very short patch, but if you care to read, I'll leave the waypoint link in the description down below. This is affecting the Kinsano Hell Charge abilities. So Postum said, with our latest patch, which by the way just came out, I would say a couple weeks ago maybe, Hell Charge was proving to be more effective in match than we had initially anticipated. To address this, we are slightly reducing the effectiveness of Tier 2 and Tier 3 versions of Kinsano's leader power Hell Charge. So the target radius reduced for all tiers down to 13. I think it gets larger with every radius prior to that. It may still be that way. I'm not so sure. For tier 2, the death explosion damage has been reduced from 700 to 600. The duration reduced from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. And the speed buff reduced from 30% to 27%. And then the damage buff is reduced, it was cut in half from 35% to 17.5%. The death explosion damage reduced from 900 to 800. This is on tier 3. The duration has been reduced from 55 to 35. Now, I thought, I may be wrong, I thought this was in seconds, but I can recall doing this on videos. In tier 3, it definitely did not last 55 seconds. It may have lasted 15 seconds. So maybe that's some sort of arbitrary number. I could be wrong though. Then the speed buff was reduced from 35% to 30%, and then the damage buff reduced from 40% to 20%. So that's kind of it. And I'm really bummed out about this, not because of the Hell Charge ability being nerfed. I never used it prior to this patch, and I probably will go back to never using it again. But what pains me the most about this is that Kinsano never gets any attention, I feel like, in the patches. And in the era of Halo Wars 2 post all of the content, they don't patch Halo Wars 2 all that often. Right now, it's been happening about once a year. Which I still think is unacceptable in my regard. I think an RTS game that has the Halo name on it, that has this many people playing the game, it should be patched at least 3 or 4 times a year with new balances. That's how RTSs stay fresh. Just like at Age of Empires, that game is over 20 years old and it gets a balance patch every week. So anyway, I'm bummed because Morgan Kinsano is my favorite leader, probably in the whole game, I would say. Morgan and I have been on a first name basis for years, and then she got nerfed into oblivion, and she's never been the same. So we're no longer on a first name basis. We returned to that first name basis for 2 weeks since the balance patch came out until today. So I really would have wished that there would have been a way to kind of bargain on this patch where we say something like, "Hey, you're nerfing Hell Charge, but how about we buff Flame Warthogs in exchange?" Because if we're going to just remove her, her previous buffs, Kinsano needs a lot more help than just a Hell Charge buff. I still think the Flame Warthogs aren't as good as they should be. I really think that Flame Siege should be a thing for Kinsano because Serena has Frost Siege, so why can't Kinsano have Flame Siege? And to be honest, Kinsano was the first DLC leader announced for Halo Wars 2, if you remember, so the creativity was not as good for Kinsano as some of the other leaders later on in the game. So you can kind of see that Kinsano only really has Flame Warthogs as her special unit, whereas some other heroes have, 3, 4, or 5 unique units. Take Yap Yap, for example. He has a ton of unique units. So, I don't know. I'm kind of sad about this. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope that this isn't the last we see of Kinsano being top of the meta. I don't know where she falls. Before this patch, she was an S-tier leader. She was one of the best leaders in the game, if not the best, for ones from what I've seen from people discussing. Prior to that, I guess she was kind of like C tier. Who knows where she'll end up now? I'm glad I didn't make the leader ranking video because this would have been irrelevant by this point. I am planning on making a new leader ranking video for all the leaders in Halo Wars 2, coming probably in a few weeks. So if that is something you're interested in, slap that subscribe button so you can know when that video is coming. And we're going to be chatting about this patch a whole lot in our Discord server. We have over 2,000 members now in our Discord server, so I would love for you to join that and chat with all things Halo Wars. Let me know your thoughts of this patch in the comments down below. This is kind of a follow-up to the previous patch from a few weeks ago, and I will say I think that patch was one of the best patches we've received in a really long time. I'm really enjoying where a lot of leaders are currently. I think it's a lot more balanced now than it ever has been. I'm still not a fan of the vulture spamming going on, but other than that, I feel pretty good about the way everything is shaping up in Halo Wars 2, even if that means Morgan has to be nerfed into oblivion yet again. Alright, that does it for me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you, James.